Hey Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. We're checking out a brand new case from Aorus today. It's called the C500 Glass. It's a little bit interesting to say the least. What time is it, Claire?
4:20?
4:20, so it must be time to exhale that smoothness.
What?
I was looking at the product page, it says exhale the smoothness. What does that mean?
I think someone exhaled something.
Yeah, maybe they inhaled something. Let's take a closer look. Let's start off with panel removal. There's two captive thumb screws here on the glass panel on the C500. Slide the panel back, lift it off, and away we go. Bob's your uncle. We don't know where Bob is though. Top panel removal, there's a little cutout on the back, and basically you just pop it up and away we go. Rear panel, same deal. Two captive thumb screws. Pull the panel back and away we go. The front panel can be removed, but ultimately not necessary with this case because you can actually get full access to everything without pulling that front panel off. For power supply support, you've got this handy dandy little bracket which is removable, which basically you can rear load the power supply in with. And the maximum PSU length you're looking at is 220 millimeters. The PSU shroud also has a cutout for the side of the PSU to let you know what your PSU is. And if there's a PSU with a screen on, okay, I get it, right? I hate this, and I get that there's power supplies that have screens and whatnot on them, and Gigabyte I think makes one with the screen on it, but I hate this. Stop doing this. There's no real reason to have this, except for the reasons that I mentioned, which are invalid. Stop making power supplies and screens. Two 2.5-inch SSD sleds on the back of the motherboard tray, as well as these two 3.5-inch drive bays, which have captive thumb screws. Basically, you loosen these up and you can slide them out. The accessory box is also in here as well. This whole cage for the hard disks can also be removed as well. There's a cable management raceway here. Everything has its own Velcro tie down, as well as the bits that aren't populated have additional Velcro tie downs that you can use for your other cables. There's a few extra tie down points here and here. There's also a couple more tie downs along this edge as well. Also, the rubber grommets for cable pass-throughs here, and there's three along here. There's a built-in RGB and PWM fan hub on this case as well, but it's not just a fan hub for the RGB, it's also a controller that is controlled by a button on the front panel, but you've got 5 PWM fan headers and 5 addressable RGB connectors here as well. For motherboard support, you can go from ITX up to EATX. Although at first it looks like there's no EATX support, this panel here is removable. There's a screw on the back side of the case which you remove, and you can just push up this plastic panel and pop this out and remove it, exposing the fact that there is additional space for that. I think this goes past EATX. I'm thinking this goes SSI CEB for their Threadripper Pro boards because there is additional standoff holes here and here for those much larger boards if you were to be building a workstation in here. There's 3 pre-installed addressable RGB fans in the case too, 3 120s up the front and a single 120 addressable RGB fan at the back. Now, the keynote out there probably would have noticed that for some reason, with quality control, they put the sticker backwards. You're not imagining things. The sticker is backwards, the fan isn't backwards. For fan and radiator support, at the top you can do up to 3 120mm fans or 2 140mm fans. You can also do a 360mm rad at the top, and not quite sure about the clearances, but it looks like you could probably do a 280mm at the top as well. Up front, you can do 3 140mm fans, 3 120mm fans, and up to a 420mm radiator up the front as well. And out the rear, we can go for either a 120mm fan or a 140mm fan as well. And if you wanted to do a 120 or 140mm rad, you could also do that there, but very uncommon. For GPU support, you're looking at a maximum of 420 mils of clearance. However, this is where this case gets a little bit weird. So you may or may not have noticed this, but the included PCIe cutouts at the back have 2 for horizontal mounting, and then you've got these for vertical mounting. However, they don't include a riser cable with this case for that. And in this configuration here, most motherboards won't even allow you to put a GPU in up here. What genius thought that was a good idea? Come on guys, do better. I also wanted to mention as well, I didn't mean to bash Gigabyte too hard because this bracket here is actually removable and we can pull this whole bracket out anyway, and it comes with the slot covers. You can have it normally, so. Maximum air cooler height support, you're looking at 190 millimeters. There's quite a bit of dust filtration as well. You've got a magnetic dust filter on the front panel, which is removable. There's also a dust filter on the bottom of the case, which slides out. It basically goes the entire length of the bottom of the case. And there's a magnetic dust filter on the top of the case as well. For the case wiring, we've got a PWM pass-through for the built-in controller, a USB 3.2 front panel connector, a USB Type-C front panel connector. There's also the SATA power connector for the built-in RGB controller and the PWM fan hub. We've got the front panel audio connector, as well as all the connectors for your lights and all your switches to let you know your system's up and running, and a 3-pin 5V addressable RGB pass-through so you can control all the lighting with your motherboard. We've got a reset button, which I'm fairly certain is wired up for RGB control, a headphone and a microphone jack, the power button, 2 USB Type-A ports and a USB Type-C port. There's also this little RGB panel here. So the Aorus logo, from what I understand, lights up. And the reason why I kind of figure this out is when you open the door, you can see there's this panel here for bias lighting behind the logo. With these cases from companies like Gigabyte and Aorus and whatnot, they're not making their own cases, and there's one telltale sign that they don't make their own cases and that Thermaltake makes their cases is if you're working on a white surface, this is what the case will do to your white surface. It's like someone was doing burnouts in their car on your table. I hate this more than anything because I have to waste so much time cleaning while I'm filming. This is ridiculous. That's everything you need to know about the C500 Glass. Let's do our usual thing. Let's get building. All right, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this build in the Aorus C500 Glass, but you know what time it is. It's time to take a look at those thermals. What you're seeing on screen right now is the thermals are actually a lot better than expected. But yeah, the thermals are quite good. The GPU thermals are a lot better than I expected, and overall, I think that Thermaltake, Aorus did a pretty good job on this case, except for a few glaring things which we'll come back to in a moment. All right, let's chat about some of the parts. The CPU is the Intel Core i9-12900K. We put the 12900K on the Aorus Z690 Master. The GPU is the Gigabyte RTX 3090 Gaming OC. The fans are the brand new Lian Li SL120 Infinity Uni fans. And the cables are the brand new Antec cable extensions in blue, white, gray, and black. They actually look rather quite good. And if I missed any of the parts, I'll put a PC part picker list down below in the description. You can check that out at your own leisure. But let's talk a little bit about the C500 Glass. The build quality of this case is actually rather quite good. This case is made in Thermaltake's factory, and the reason why I know this, or why I can assume this, is because it's got a lot of hallmarks of high-end Thermaltake cases. The material, the paint finish, and all of that just feels so very Thermaltake, as well as those really cheap rubber feet which leave skid marks. There are lots of little Aorus-y things around the case. There's a couple little accents at the top, which is actually quite cool, as well as stuff on the back panel that have like the Aorus decals and stuff like that. And a lot of attention to detail has been put into this to make this an Aorus case, except for that rear fan with these stickers on backwards. The cable management on the case is actually quite good as well. I didn't hate it. It was very, very easy to cable manage. It usually takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to do it. This one took about 4.5 minutes to cable manage. Additional Velcro tie downs on the back are really nice, and they actually did help quite a bit with getting all those cables organized. And you guys may or may not know this, maybe you're brand new to the channel, but as mentioned, I don't spend heaps of time on the cable management. And even if it is a little bit messy, who cares? You're never gonna see it when the back panel's on anyway. To be honest, I was a bit skeptical with this case at first because Aorus's last cases have been pretty bad, if I'm being honest, and this one is not terrible, and I don't hate it. Now, with saying that, they've done what MSI have done, they've done what Asus and ROG have done with the pricing. Hold on to your hats, because if you're interested in buying the Aorus C500 Glass, at least in Australia, this case is going for 349 Aussie dollars. I don't know where they got that price from. I don't know why they think it should be that expensive, but if this case was, let's say, 150 Australian dollars or around 200 Australian dollars, easy pill to swallow, but 349, I think they need to exhale the smoothness a little bit more. In terms of availability in the US and pricing from the US, I don't know what that is. I did find it available on M-Wave here in Australia, so $349, definitely smoking something. Yep, very, very expensive for what it is. Anyways, guys, if you like the music you heard here, I make all the music. It's available by clicking the join button down below. It gives you access to all of that wonderful music. And if you like seeing this ugly face in your subscription box every couple days, you know what to do. Hit the like button, make sure you get yourself subscribed, turn on those notifications, and then I may or may not do a stupid facey thumbnail that those people do. I'll never do those thumbnails. And that's it. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. That's right, I'm your boy. Don't ask me to do stuff. That's not my jam. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. You peek, we seek, and exhale the smoothness. I still found that so funny. I saw it a couple weeks ago and Claire and I had a bit of a laugh about it. I just don't know where that came from. Exhale the smoothness. How else do you exhale? I'm gonna exhale myself out of here. Click some links, do the thing, do a backflip, tell your mum she's lovely, exhale the smoothness.